This is Gail Kovac for Gresham Barlow School District. This is Summer School High School Credit Recovery Algebra 1B and Learning Target number 9. I can graph a quadratic function in factored intercept form. Y equals a times the quantity x minus p times the quantity x minus q. So our quadratic function looks a little bit different here. I do know this is a quadratic, so it's going to look like a parabola of the U-shaped because inside I've got a squared component of x times x. So it's going to be a parabola, and it's going to have that vertex, that turnaround point. It's going to kind of look like a hybrid of the letter U and V together, and it's going to be mirrored down the middle of that vertex. So what I need to do is find 3 points to graph the line. Now, a couple of these points in this intercept form is going to be a little bit easier because it says intercept. It's alluding to the up to 2 x-intercepts that a parabola can have. And you can find those from the P and the Q right here, P and Q. So by intercept, we're talking about the x-axis right here. Notice that on the x-axis, that's all values where y is going to be equal to 0. So how can we make something y here equal to 0? Notice here we have 2 things that are being multiplied together, this object and this object. If you want to get an answer of 0 and you're multiplying 2 things together, you just need at least one of those 2 things to be equal to 0, because 0 times anything is equal to 0. And we've got a couple options. Maybe I'll make this number equal to 0. Then 0 times anything will equal 0. Or maybe I'll make this component equal to 0. 0 times whatever this is will also equal 0, and that'll give us one of the points on our x-axis. So let's try each of these. I'm going to first take this part and I'm going to set this part equal to 0. I want to find out what value of x will make this whole thing equal to 0. What does it need to be? How do you get x minus 3 equal to 0? What does x have to be? So what number can I subtract 3 and I get 0 as an answer? That would be positive 3. 3 take away 3 will equal 0. So now I know what x needs to be. It needs to be 3. Three take away 3 will equal 0. So this is one of my x-intercepts at 3. Let's try another one. How do we get instead this component to equal 0? That will be x plus 3 equal to 0. What does x need to be? It needs to be the additive opposite of positive 3. It needs to be negative 3. Negative 3 plus 3 will equal 0. So let's change it. Negative 3. Negative 3 plus 3 will equal 0. So I've got another value for x that will turn y into 0. That is negative 3. There's my other x-intercept. Wow, I've got 2 points already. Now I just need a third one. The third one will be your vertex. It will be the point that is halfway in between these 2 points that you just plotted. So let's find that vertex. I'll do this one in red. So your vertex, let's see, I need to find where is halfway in between these 2 numbers. Oh, I think it's actually right here on the y-axis. It's at 0. But how far up and down is it going to be? This is going to be my mirror, happens to also be the y-axis, but where on this mirror is that point? Is it way down here to make that U shape like this? Is it up here to make the U shape upside down? Is it really close to make it kind of flat? I got to figure out where it is. Well, I've got my formula right here that tells me what y is based off of x. And I know what x is going to be for my vertex. It's going to be 0. So I'm going to input 0 in here and find out what y has to be. All right, so y is equal to x take away 3 times x plus 3. All right, let's see. Now I'm choosing x to be 0. Let's see what I get. 0 take away 3 is negative 3. 0 plus 3 is positive 3. And negative 3 multiplied by positive 3 is negative 9. So negative 9 will be the y component of my vertex. That's going to make it be right down here. And now I've got my 3 points. I can draw my parabolic shape. It's going to go in between these like this, kind of like a hybrid of a U and a V. And it's going to continue up to infinity, so I can just keep drawing it past those 2 points like this. So what I did was I found out what could make this equal to 0. X would have to be 3. That's one of my x-intercepts. What would make this equal to 0? X needs to be negative 3. That gets me another x-intercept. Find the x value that's halfway. In this case, it happened to be 0. Plug that back into your original formula to find the y component and draw. Let's do it again for this side over here. All right, I'm looking for my 2 x-intercepts. That's where y is going to be equal to 0. So let's figure out how to make this equal to 0 first. All right, x take away 2 equals 0. What does x have to be? What can I subtract 2 and get 0? I think that needs to be 2. 2 minus 2 is equal to 0. So let's change that x. I know what it is now. It's not just x. It's got to be a 2. 2. That's going to be one of my x-intercepts here at positive 2. All right, now let's find the other one here. What value of x would turn that term into 0? So that's going to be x plus 4 equals 0. All right, what can I add 4 and get 0? Something plus 4 is 0. I think that needs to be the additive opposite of negative 4. Negative 4 plus 4 would equal 0. Let's change that x now. All right, negative 4. That's going to be my other value of x that makes y equal to 0. That's going to be over here. All right, I got my 2 x-intercepts. Now I need to find my mirror so that I can find my vertex. All right, I'm looking for the distance that's halfway between these two. Oh gosh, it's not going to be my y-axis this time. That's way too off. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Those 2 points are 6 steps across, so I need to go 3 and 3. 1, 2, 3. All right, here's my mirror. It's at -1 this time. Yeah, that sure does look halfway now, doesn't it? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Yep, that's halfway. All right, so my vertex is going to have an x component of -1. But now I got to figure out the y component. Is that vertex right down here? Is it down here? Here? Is it up there? I know it's somewhere on that mirror, but I got to find out where. I know what the x component is, so let's figure out what the y is. This formula here gives me y based on x, so let's use that. Y is equal to, and that's x take away 2 times x plus 4. And what was x equal to again? Oh yeah, -1. -1 and -1. Cool, I can do this. All right, -1 take away 2 is -3. And -1 plus 4 is +3. Well, why don't you look at that? It looks like -3 times 3, that gets you 9. Sorry, -9. And happens to be the same y component as the previous problem, -9. All right, so -1, -9, that's where the vertex is. All right, I got my 1, 2, 3 points, and I'm going to connect them to make that parabola. It's like that UV sort of hybrid. Here we go. There we go. And we got it.